Hi there, welcome back to Build-A-Stitch. I'm going to set up another set of fern stitches here, I think. And then I think I'm going to do them whiter this time for this row again, because I've come up with some more ideas to try, but some of them I need a little bit more space than with the narrow ones. Sometimes getting around that knot is challenging, so sometimes the best way to do it is just to go look at the back. Okay, there we go. So today I'm going to do a really minimalist flower. Sometimes you'll see these, they're kind of like a eucalyptus flower or things like that. See them in places where you can have, and some of the relatives of peas can have these kinds of flowers. So one of the things that I'm really realizing with this stitch is that it's really forgiving if you like have a little separation in there between, like if you get a thread, I don't know if it happens again I'll point it out, but every once in a while I do this and there's like a little separation because I'm trying to go back in and out of the same hole that I'm starting in for all of these, but every once in a while it doesn't quite work out, and it's easy to cover that up with the other stitches so that it ends up looking continuous. So like here you can see that one little blue thread there, right there, because I didn't quite get in the hole, and I could stop and change that, but with the size of thread that I'm working with right now and all of that, if when I put the stitch coming up from down here, that would completely hide that. It's not so much right now just because it is fairly well hidden actually. I'm not going to do another stitch, but when you put another stitch there, it completely hides it. So it's not a big deal to have that there. Okay, I'm going to tie off really quick, and then I'm going to go, and so these are basically petalless flowers. So in these cases, if you were to look at one of these flowers, it would be petalless. So you would just see these bright colored stamen. The nice thing with this is that they're just kind of bright and colorful. So I'm going to start up here. And these you can do as many as you want. So there are two ways you can do these, and I'm going to do both on here. So you can do it like this, where it's an elongated French knot, and that's what I did last time for the stamen. And so for these, sometimes getting your hands in the right place, they're a little tricky, and keeping it under the camera is tricky. Okay, so for these, you wind the thread like a normal French knot, but then you pull it up to the top like that. And so it's just that you don't put the needle back down where you started. And so I'm going to do this whole little flower here that way. You can do a whole big group of them if you want. I think I'm going to do like 4 or so. So make sure I'm getting to the point where my fabric is kind of a little bit long for under the camera. So you just kind of loop it, stick it where you want it to go. The hardest part is holding it down so you don't get funky loops. And then this one. Ow. And try not to poke yourself. Okay, I'm going to do one more in here. So this is a nice way to do this, especially for stamen, because stamen are just kind of fun hanging out there. The other way you can do this, and I'm going to do it down here, is that you can do a straight stitch. And the one thing you have to remember with this is that you're going to need to start just a tiny bit past that straight stitch, because since you just put the needle down here, if you go up right there, you're just going to pop your stitch out. So you can do it like this. And for me, the biggest advantage here is that sometimes with these, you end up getting them looking kind of curved, and you can really see that over here with these. It's not necessarily sitting like right at the very top of that, or the straight part of that stitch. It's kind of pulling to the side a little bit, and I haven't figured out how to avoid that. So if you really don't want them pulling off to a side, then I would recommend doing this way. Now you can avoid that issue with it popping out by doing the stitches in the opposite direction. So in this case, so this first one I stitched from here to here. This one I stitched from here to here, so now I'm going back up here, and it's not going to pop that stitch out. But you have a little bit more control as to where these stitches go, and they're going to be more straight. And so it's just entirely up to you which one of these you want to do, which way you want to do it. It doesn't really matter, and the end result is going to look pretty much the same. And I also find that I get, well, I think I'm looping the stitches a little bit more. Let me check. I think I just did a really quick loop on the other one. That one's maybe a little bit farther than I would normally like, but it doesn't really matter. It's about the same number of loops there too. But these lazy daisies look bigger. Not lazy daisies, French knots look bigger than these. I haven't quite figured that out. Okay, I'm going to tie off here really quick because I really don't have much thread to use. So you can see the difference between those two. And if I had a thinner thread, then it would be even more different. Okay. I'm going to go all the way down here for this next one. I'm going to do these the other way again. So with the long French knots. Yeah, see, that's the same number of loops that I had before. I don't quite know why they end up being, a little bit thinner. I guess maybe it's just because with these you wrap all of this there too. But the nice thing with this, doing it as the elongated, is that it's just one stitch instead of two. I'm doing these really close too. I don't know. That's okay. Just not quite as long there. Okay, so I'm going to do one more set over here, and I'm going to do I think I'll do the quick ones here too. Just wanted to show you the difference between the two. And that one got a little way away from me a little bit. It's a little bit more loopy than I would want, but it still looks okay, and actually it's a bigger loop like those, so maybe that's what you do. You just make it a little looser. I should have flipped this to stitch at the beginning of this session. Okay, let's find the end of that. Pull gently. Okay, there we go. So, there we have our little petalless flowers, or little stamen flowers. Lots of fun. They tend to be really bright reds and oranges and things like that. Sometimes white or yellow, but just another really fun little option for flower embellishments there. So I'm going to stop there for today. Have a fantastic rest of your day.